There are the big dogs and the big fish in the ecosystem, and it's the small ones too, but they're all working together.
And the reason why is also because it's an industry where people have been taken advantage of.
When it comes to the Creative Cipher, it's like you're focusing on like a high-level storyteller.
There are some people who are watching this and they are aspiring to be in film. They do have that cool story.
Love your baby, love your idea, but build your idea out too, because as you build that out, naturally who you need to attach to it will come to you.
To go look and research and study and know your stuff, so you're not waiting on somebody to feed you hand and mouth.
Based on you listening to this podcast, you're probably a creative entrepreneur who's ready to stop hustling for clients and start building a business that runs on purpose, profit, and peace.
If that's you, we want to invite you to join the Creative to CEO Challenge, a 5-day live coaching experience designed to help you shift your mindset and develop the habits to turn your creativity into consistent cash flow.
And it's all happening live on Zoom inside a private community of ambitious creative entrepreneurs just like you. People who are done guessing, done grinding, and ready to build with clarity and confidence.
By the end of the challenge, you'll have a crystal clear direction on your next 90 days, a profit plan that fits your lifestyle, and the framework to start earning 10K plus months doing what you love without burning out or selling out.
So if that sounds like what you need, then tap the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're watching this on screen. And do not forget to upgrade to VIP for bonus coaching and behind the scenes Q&A every day of the challenge with me and Shy.
We can't wait to help you unlock CEO mode and the freedom you've been working for. Now, let's get back to the episode.
What's up, and welcome to the Minding My Creative Business podcast, the #1 podcast to gain strategy, structure, and self-development all in one place. I am your co-host, Shy Speaks.
And I'm your co-host, Ron Ironically Jr.
And this episode is going to be one of my favorite. I said it on all of them.
You literally say it on every episode.
I'm just saying, this is so good, you know?
It is.
But we have the distinct privilege of introducing someone special, of a Chicago Southside finest, Miss Cindy B. Y'all clap it up for her.
Thank you.
Okay, now that's just your name. I'm gonna let Ron give a little bit more about you. Let's kind of fluff it up a little bit. Let's make it clear what's going on.
Media producer, business leader, culture curator, the president of Creative Cipher.
Yes.
That is a creative ecosystem, right? And Morally Sinful Productions.
Yes.
So that's how we would introduce you, Miss Cindy. How would you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'd say all those same things. And I think I'd add to it, yes, a native of the South Side of Chicago, just passionate, visionary in the entertainment space, looking to consistently create opportunities for those who are often overlooked or just don't get the voice and the time to shine that they deserve.
I love it.
Come on, looking out for others.
Yeah,
Got to.
So you're a business owner yourself.
I am.
But just recently, you partner with another organization and become president of that organization, if I'm not correct. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. So Creative Cipher is, as you called it, a creative ecosystem. But to dig more deeper into that, what that means is it is a company rooted in collaboration and connection of resources, opportunities, etc. for creatives, especially in the film industry. But we are tapped into the entire entertainment ecosystem, music, the arts, you name it. So our staple event is XL Film Festival. It's annual every August, every third weekend in August each year. And it's an opportunity not to just come and watch films, but literally to connect and collaborate in real time. So we envision XL Fest as a marketplace. So you're literally, if you're a distributor, you're shopping for films to distribute. But if you're a makeup artist, maybe you're shopping for your next opportunity to be on a film set and be a part of that crew. And I think that's the piece of it that people don't always keep in mind. It was started by a brother also from Chicago by the name of Troy Pryor about 12 years ago. Troy's been boots to the ground for years building this thing up, making XL what it is. But like I said, it comes from Creative Cipher. Cipher. And now we're at a place of elevation. So he's elevated into his chairman role. He's named me as successor to take this thing to the next level. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah. Come on. I love it. I love anything that is a creative ecosystem. I'm gonna love it, right? But specifically in the film industry. And so we have, if you're watching this episode and you're thinking, man, I wanted to get into film, I want to do something in media, not necessarily like I don't want to be the like. I want to do it behind the scenes. I want to bring it together. Like whatever it is, I'm sure you're gonna be able to get in this episode. So I want you to listen in closely. Ron, you got something you want to ask?
Yeah. So you just mentioned this event that takes place annually.
Yes.
Correct. And it's bringing together, filmmakers, but not just the filmmakers. So you have the distributors, like all these different facets.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily was going to ask about events, but I kind of want to know about that event, like what goes into putting on an event of that magnitude. And I'm assuming it's not just locally. You might do it here, but people from all over are coming.
Oh yeah, certainly. There's people are traveling from all over. The brand itself has presence internationally. We have partners over in London, but to the specific festival that takes place here in Chicago, takes place on the South Side, culture-rich neighborhood, High Park, in partnership with so many amazing brands. Speaking of some of those distributors you're talking about, we've got sponsorship and partnerships with the likes of AMC, Stars Network, bringing people like literally from all over. So that means executives from LA are flying in, celebs from LA are flying in. We're in partnership with the Tate Brothers, so Lorenz, Lamar, LaRon, all of them. So it's super cool. And so, I mean, what piece of it do you want to know the most about?
The business of it, like, 'cause it's one thing to kind of pull something together,
Yeah,
right? Throw an event, right? But I'm assuming this isn't like is it a free event or is it a?
No, it's not free.
Right, that's right.
It's definitely rooted in the community though. So every year there has been a free aspect. Maybe you can come out and catch a certain event or a conversation around that. But the event itself, to your point, I think you asked about the systems. It takes a lot. So it starts with an idea, right? So we're past the visionary stage. It's been executed 3 times over. Every year it's growing more and more. And I think what goes into scaling it like that is, one, building the network, right? Partnering with the right people, being able to pitch the concept as a valuable thing for people to invest their money in, their time in, their likeness in, right? Like we're partnering these people. They're putting their name on it too. Why? We have to make it worth their while. And I think people see the opportunity that, one, it's rooted in a purpose of elevating the culture. It's rooted in the purpose of putting on Front Street, again, that talent that's often overlooked. Similar to the company Creative Cipher, XL Fest is rooted in not asking for permission. There's no need to go and ask to sit at the next table when you got this table right here that we built for us.
With what you're saying right there, keeping it open and accessible, I want to think through how you guys are able to make it so that there's no gatekeeping, but there's also still a standard of quality that's there. I'm sure that there's a art and science to it. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that, because it's one of those things that when you're doing it, you don't really think about the how, you just kind of do, I guess maybe because it's my craft per se. But thinking a little deeper about it, I think it comes from a few different things, to be honest. So one, the brands that you're partnering with, who you're attaching yourself to, who you're asking to come and sponsor or speak or whatever, that's a part of maintaining that certain level of a top tier brand. That's a part of keeping that in mind, right? Like you want people who are established or, have the expertise to speak on these topics. And in the art of speaking on it, that's where the not gatekeeping comes in. Like you're having events that people can actually walk away with something from. Like if you are sitting in an audience with an executive from Stars or AMC giving free game, the gate's gone. You know what I mean? Like you're hearing directly from the horse's mouth what they're looking for. So you can take that knowledge and walk away knowing and feeling empowered that I can do this.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so I have so many more questions I want to ask about the creative ecosystem, but I also want to talk a little bit about the morally sinful productions.
Yes.
And the reason why is because I know that experience there has positioned you to be able to speak to all things film. And so really quick, give me a backdrop on how you got to the point where you said, okay, I'm going to start a company called this.
It's funny because I didn't know I'd be telling this story twice today. I literally just left an event and it just organically came up with somebody. So a part of my journey, I did grad school at Northwestern, and I got my master's of science in leadership for creative enterprises. And as a part, it was called MSLC, M-Slice program. And so as a part of it, we took a trip into LA before the pandemic, whatever. And so we got to visit a lot of like the studios, the talent agencies, et cetera, et cetera. I won't say no names. We visited this one company in particular, and the interns had horror stories. Like I'm talking somebody talking about they got staplers thrown at their head, like, and maybe it was the South Side Chicago on me, but never, because I literally, and I don't condone violence, but I raised my hand in real time, and I was like, so did you throw it back? And that was my gut instinct. It's like, why are you nobody attack you like at work? You know what I mean? So it's just like, and I look back like, all right, maybe I didn't have to ask the question, but I say that to say it was in that moment I knew the traditional Hollywood route was not for me, because I might not have ever gotten a stapler thrown at my head or had those same experiences, but I couldn't risk it. I think it also comes from being a daughter of two entrepreneurs. My parents have, to some degree, always had their own businesses my entire life. So I think it was just kind of instilled in me. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna punch a clock, it's probably gonna be my own.
Yeah.
And just being passionate about things that I was seeing, I was just like, you know what? When I leave this program, I'm gonna start my own company. You know, and I still maintained a job for a while at first, but it was again in more of the freelance route. I didn't go a traditional 9-to-5. Let me go work for one of the talent agencies and hope the agents like me. I didn't take that route.
And what was your niche that you were focusing on? Because I know there's so much in production that you can do. What were you What would you say? Okay, I'm going to do it, but what am I going to focus on?
Yeah, good question. So I think for the company specifically, I kind of figured it out as I went. A lot of my jobs in freelance were specifically in television production.
Okay.
But I would take that expertise. I would see what I would learn on sets and other companies that I was working with through my company or just kind of connecting with. I did a lot of live streams, a lot of panels, a lot of table talks that eventually grew into podcasting, especially when podcasting really took off. Like now everybody wants a podcast. Everybody has some sort of talk series online that they want to do. I started producing a lot of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's dope. I love the fact. I saw that you saw a need. It was like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect me like that. If this is multiple people's story, this is a pattern or a standard, right? So I'm going to create my own standard, right? And create my own lane and create my own table. So I don't gotta come to your table asking you, can I sit here? No, like that's dope. And like I said, you had those examples in your parents to see that, but then also just that resilience that you keep talking about, you being from the South Side.
Mike's too good.
Yeah, that's all good.
I said I wanted to talk about the production company, but I'm gonna go back really quick. Okay, let's go back to the Creative Cipher.
It all flows together.
I know, because I like it. So why an ecosystem? And when we say ecosystem, is it just like because we wanted to pull a whole bunch of resources together, or is it an ecosystem because we want to pull a bunch of people together so we can have multiple owners, multiple relationship downline? Like, what was it? When we say ecosystem, what does that mean for you guys?
I love that question, and I think it's such a question for the founder. So what I'm gonna answer it though. Don't get me wrong, because as president of my own vision, I can tell you what it means to me. But I just want to put the disclaimer out there. If I get it wrong by technicality, it's because this was Troy's baby that he's now entrusting me with.
Right.
But honestly, I think it's a mix of both. And I think when I think about this ecosystem, this network that all kind of works and flows together, that is Creative Cipher, it's full of business owners, but it's also full of other people who maybe it's not their business, but they hold the power, they hold the seats, and it all flows and works together. So for me, my vision of it is whether you own the space or not, just the spaces that, to your point about resources and connections and how we're helping each other advance these individual projects, into this one large, beautiful conglomerate of like I look at Creative Cipher like, call us the next Viacom, or you know what I mean? Like this, I want networks. You know what I mean? I want businesses. I want entities within this one major entity.
Nice.
So
I love
hopefully that answers it.
That definitely answers it. Okay, so there's going to be a whole way that's going to have to be structured to even bring that
Absolutely.
baby to life. But let's talk about the behind the scenes. Like, let's go behind the scenes of like production company, these types of film companies. What's something that, like, okay, if you're going to be successful in film, right, you need to have these things in place, like structure wise, you know?
I think I'm gonna say entertainment in general. I want to broaden it from film, if that's okay.
Okay.
Grit.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't got no grit, get out the kitchen. Like, you gotta have a hustle about yourself. You have to have a determination. I think that goes hand in hand with some discipline. You gotta have discipline. I think discipline can look different for everybody because we all got our own vices and we all got our own things that move us or hold us back. What I'm learning is you have to have the ability to be okay with it not working out. You have to, like, and that yields resilience. So I guess the principle there that you have to have is resilience. You have to understand and live, eat, breathe, sleep the art of pivot.
Right. So you gave me character that you have to have that the developing inside you. Yeah, I want to know. I'm trying to have a company. What do I need to have in order to have a company that can get these big deals so that I can attract the you know what I'm saying? All the people you talked about. How do I even attract these type of I have to. There's some kind of bones that I have to have. Otherwise, people be like, that's not together over there. You know what it is. You would probably say Troy knows what it is. Like, they just know. You can tell that this is not. It didn't have the right infrastructure to even hold. So yeah.
Well, one, I'm gonna say you'd be surprised by what out here don't have infrastructure and is making it. Fake it till you make it is a real thing, and I'm not saying that applies here. I'm just telling you what I've seen. But I'm gonna push back a little bit. My answer don't change. I can add to it for you. But it starts with character. If it's not, that fake it till you make it is only going until you make it, and then it's gonna be exposed. The mask's gonna come off at some point. So you have to, if you want to not just sustain but grow and elevate, it has to be in you, and you can't fake that. Adding to that, though, and getting more into maybe tangible products or systems, logistics, like you have to have a workflow. You have to have a team with designated roles and responsibilities and ownership. It can't be a one-man show. It can't be like, you know what I mean? And everybody can't do everything. Hone in on who's got what expertise and amplify that. You know, especially as sitting in a leadership role, my job is not to tell people what to do, is to bring what's already in them out of them and let them do it. Let them flow into it. As far as how to, keep the attention and attraction of these names and get these deals, attention to detail. You have to be, spot on to it. Like, do research. You have to work. You got to work your ass off, to be honest, and not in the sense of to the point where your hands are bleeding literally, but to the point where I've researched all I can research, and now I'm taking this information and applying it here. What is this company that I want to try? What are they looking for? You know what I mean? Have a strategy. Like, what the strategy is, okay, they have this specific need. Does what I have to offer them fit it? No, but I really want them, and it's for a good reason. So let me tailor now my approach. Let me figure out how to speak to them in the language that makes sense to them, not just I got the golden egg. Everybody think they got a golden egg, but why is your golden egg the one that I need?
And I guess what I'm asking is, like, what you're saying is that those are. I'm not saying that those are not, like. I guess what I'm asking is, somebody's watching this. They're a creative entrepreneur. They want to be in. You just said logistics, systems. What you
want, like, software names? Like,
what kind of workflow do I need? How do I make sure they know it's not a one man show? Like, how do I need to? Is it what teammates do I need, or is it some type of software that I need? Is it some type of? Do I need to have an LLC? Like, what is it? You know that. What are the bones of what I need to have a viable media company or a production company?
I think, production. I was going to say, because I think it goes without saying that, that's going to look different, whatever the project may be. For a production company, it's so funny. I was having this conversation the other day too, because there's different kinds, right? Like, you got producers that are handling more of the administrative side of things. You know what I mean? They're getting the paperwork done. They're filing the paperwork, maybe for whatever the case may be. Then you have the creative producers. You have the people. So let's take a I'm trying to think of like a type of project that may help me, better answer.
So for simply for morally, is it morally
Morally sinful
Morally
productions,
sensible.
yes.
So what style of production company is that?
Morally Sinful Productions is a boutique production house that specializes in literally what she's asking for. I tell you what you need for your project. So it's so funny that I ain't answering her question. So to that point, so if you come to me and you say, hey, I have this idea, I want to do a podcast, what do I need to do? The systems that I'm going to put in place for you. I'm going to ask you a little bit more about what your podcast is. Is this something that is a passion project? Is just you talking to the mic? Is this something we want to have guests? But now we're going to build out, okay, well, first we need content. We need a proof of concept. And what we're going to build out is the team that needs to make that proof of concept happen. So if it's a visual podcast, you need a video team. You need an audio guy. You need a script. Like, where are you going to be your talking points? Now we have this proof of concept. You got your episode finished. Cool. Now we got to market it. So now I need a marketing plan. So I might need a digital marketing person. That's a part of my team because they need to go on and do your Google ads and do whatever else. I need a social media person that's going to take these clips that the videographer cut up and they're going to push them for you. We're going to have the strategy behind that. You might need a photo shoot. So now I need a photographer, a videographer, a hair. Like, the list can vary by project, but what any good producer should do is ask you exactly what your vision is, and then from there break it down into departments for you. And those teams, what that team looks like, you got your marketing, you got your film crew, you got your distribution team. Like, it's layered. It ain't here's the three people you need and you can do anything. Now, honestly you can. That's how we all kind of start. Sometimes maybe it's just you, your best friend with their camera, you know what I mean? And you can do anything for sure. Like, I don't want to be discouraging to anybody watching. But if you're really asking about when we're getting into scaling things and building brands that last and people that it gets layered, it gets deep.
Yeah, thank you. I was, because when it comes to like Creative Cipher, it's a ecosystem. So it's so many different things. So I was trying to find a way to like help somebody who's watching this, who was trying to say, I want to land this type of spot.
Okay.
I want to land, give me I want to go into film. You said it. You said to yourself you wanted to do it, and you knew, okay, I'm gonna have to do. You needed some stuff, so
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why I was asking that. And I was like, I knew you would know it from multiple different angles. But yeah, so I think a lot of times people think like, I just want to do a thing, but they don't understand what needs to be done. So, for example, if I'm going to start a restaurant, right? If I'm going to start a restaurant, for example,
You need cooks, you need a cash register, I get what you're saying. That's why I said it varies.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, if I can add on that, I think this is a level of transparency that I also want someone watching to know. Is sometimes when you make that decision to start, you ain't gonna know what you need. You know what I mean? I know it's like, so tell them what they need, but I want them to know first, figure out the vision.
Right.
What you need before you need a team, before you need anything else, is a clear vision. Because without that, you'll be trying to plug and play the wrong team members.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't know, if you just say, hey, I want to do a film, cool, I can give you the basics. Again, you need a script writer, you need whatever, cool. But what kind of film? Where do you want this film to land? And some of that you will figure out as you go. You don't know all the answers off top. But I think more often than not, a lot of creatives, we set ourselves up to make the job harder, I won't say for failure, but for a little bit more difficult of a role, because we don't so easily or so instinctively think through the extra details that we could up front. So just take a step back. And it's so funny because I'm a creative at heart myself, but I think where I have found my knack at, what kind of has gotten me the clients I've gotten, whatever, it's the logistics side. It's the thinking through. I have to literally work through, and it's funny because I worked with a lot of founders. So it's like the attachment that they have to their project. These are their literal kids. So you can't really tell nobody about how to raise their kid and how to do it up. But you have to find a way to really help people see, like, I understand your passion. I understand your attachment. This is emotional for you. But you got to let me bring some logic to that emotion. We have to find a balance for them. And so for people who may not have found that person in their life or don't have that producer or whatever yet, my advice to how to get started and figure out what that team looks like is to love your baby, love your idea, but build your idea out too. Because as you build that out, naturally who you need to attach to it will come to you. You'll figure it out.
No, I love that piece where you said that you start with the vision. Because I mean, I'm a vision person, right? And that's where it starts. Like, what is it that you want to do? And based off, I mean, knowing what you want to do, now we can discuss and see, okay, how can we
Yep.
bring this to reality, right? And for you, it may be different. So I hear what you're saying. Like for different people, there's different things, but starting with that what first, and then we can build around that. So
That wasn't that why.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because the how, I think a lot of us don't realize the how can vary. It's more than one ways to get to the same destination. It's more than one way, different paths. But I think if you really know you want to do something, it needs to hit these 3 points. It needs to, I don't know, inspire kids or honor your mama, like whatever it is. Don't waver on those pieces.
right.
That's the part you're clear about. That's your vision.
Yeah,
How you get there, be flexible to that. Be ready to pivot. Because you may think you're going to get there by just making this really colorful picture that's going to make kids feel... And somebody going to come in and tell you, baby, you're going to need some more than that. You know?
Yeah.
right. So when it comes to the Creative Cipher, it's like you're focusing on like a high level storyteller, right? Or
who are the clients?
Yeah.
And what are
like,
the-
tell me more about this high... What is a high level?
Yeah,
well,
no,
so
who
you
are the
have
clients?
your hobbyists, right?
Okay.
And then you have the people that are really trying to enter into the industry and make impact.
Okay.
So how do you separate your event from those who are just hobbyists to the people like, no, this is what?
I don't know that we do separate.
Okay,
I think
okay.
it's room for everyone.
Okay.
So even if we focus specifically on the films, we have a portal. You submit your film. Of course, we have criteria that we're using to judge it. You know, is the story compelling? Is it well written? How is it shot? And it doesn't mean it has to be perfect. There may be room for improvement, but can we see that room for improvement? You know what I mean? And so from a filmmaker perspective, that takes care of people who are really passionate about the art and trying to enter into the industry in that way. But the hobbyists, they can still come out. Is you can come just watch it. You know what I mean? Like we have screenings. You can come and maybe meet the filmmaker, the act. Like there's something for everybody. So I don't know that we discriminate between the two. Because I think it's all a part of the culture.
Right.
You know?
Well, that especially for that specific event. But
Yes.
what about just the Creative Cipher in general? I guess who would you say is? Do you have like a particular client or a particular target audience that you guys are trying to attract into that ecosystem?
Love the question. So the 3 pillars of Creative Cipher, we have film and content. So that kind of speaks to a lot of what we've been talking about. We have events and we have news. And the news is kind of the arc over our podcast, the radio show, different entities that we have to just kind of keep conversations about the entertainment industry relevant, about the happenings, et cetera, et cetera. I think within those 3 pillars, the audiences overlap. And I think that they are inclusive still of the high level and of the hobbyist. It's what do you want to know? What are you looking for? Now, when you say clients, our clients per se is the person that needs the connections, that needs the resources, the local filmmaker who has a film that is worthy of an Oscar, that is worthy of all these awards, but they don't have the visibility.
So when you say the visibility to whom?
To the world, the larger distributors, to these connections that, you know, like I said, we can just start with a consistent partner, Tate Brothers. You know what I mean? Like me and Troy got LaRon on speed dial or whatever, and I'm not promising nobody no deals or no films for all disclaimer purposes. But the point in me saying that is now you're one step closer because you've been able to enter your work into a space with eyes of people who aren't trying to hold it or steal the idea, or you know what I mean? Like that may end up on Hollywood's table. Hollywood's ready to go and run and take it and never even give you the credit for it. We're not looking to do that. It's a organic, authentic, hey, we know what it's like to be creatives and keep getting these no's and no's and no's. I think I heard something today was like, you get 10 no's before you finally get that one yes. I think our client is the person that is ready for their one yes, but they've been taking the craft serious. Like they're putting the work. They got a story to tell.
They have a story to tell. They come and submit it through you all in hopes to have a connection to a larger network than what they have, so that they can get it distributed in a way that maybe they could have put it out on their website, but they want to get it distributed
And for clarification, it's not even just distribution. You may have that on lock, but maybe you need some, maybe you haven't even made the film yet, but you got a script that's so damn powerful and you ain't been able to get the resources. You talked about team. Maybe I need to find a DP, or I need to find, like, you know what I mean? Cool. What resources does Creative Cipher have? Or I got all of this, but I can't find nobody to do my actor's makeup today. Again, it comes down to that. Like, what can we pull from? Because I don't even want to discredit the right here at home reach that we have. Like, I keep speaking to the networks in Hollywood. I mean, we got some of the coldest producers in the city on our day-to-day team.
Right.
What can they pull for you? What sets are they on that maybe they can? So it's a very much, I think the word ecosystem describes it perfectly, because there are the big dogs and the big fish in the ecosystem, and it's the small ones too, but they're all working together.
You're not just an entrepreneur. You're a creative entrepreneur, which means that your world of business works differently, especially when it comes to funding. Okay, maybe you're bootstrapping, injecting your own money into your passion, or you're searching for investors who all too often overlook your unique vision. And yeah, you've heard a little bit about business credit, but you don't know exactly where to get started. Well, listen, we've got your back. We've partnered with Credit Savant to help creative entrepreneurs just like you get access to up to $150,000 in business credit. That's right, $150,000 to scale your creative-based business into the enterprise that you know that it can be. And trust me, they're not just going to throw information at you and send you on your way. They're going to walk hand in hand with you to help you get funded. Are you ready to take the next step? Well, head over to creditsavant.io. That's creditsavant.io. And tell them MMCB sent you.
My question is about IP, right? You mentioned about, somebody might have a script or somebody may have something, and they're bringing it to you all for your assistance. But if it was to go to Hollywood, they may, take it or whatever. So how are you, or within that ecosystem, how are you training and developing them to where they can protect that IP?
I love
right?
that question.
Being creative, that's kind of, that's the.
You get the right dollar amount, you might want to give it away or something. Is that where you're going with it? Yeah. No, for sure. The encouragement and the understanding is that this is yours, right? So we are genuinely entering this, whether you look at it, if it ends up becoming a partnership, if it's just, us helping, whatever the case may be, as this is yours. Now, in any business deal, whatever, maybe there's some sort of official attachment, EP, whatever we get credits, whatever, every deal looks different. But it's kind of serving as that defense block or that support system when we are making these connections to the larger fish. Here's the filmmaker with their project. Now, I can't tell nobody what to do. I'm no lawyer. I ain't giving no legal advice. You know what I mean? But again, it's that encouragement, it's that understanding of we're here to help you with your product. You maintain your rights, maintain your IP. You know what I mean? Like, there are different types of deals out here in the world. If what you're seeking is simply a distribution deal, let's be clear with that. Let's make sure cool. But I think it's as simple as the awareness, it's the knowledge, providing the tools of, hey, this isn't a come sell your idea if that's not what you're looking to do. Now, some people may be. You can have all the rights. I just want to check. It varies by person for sure. But thank you for bringing that up, because I do think people should know the difference.
Okay. Earlier, I was asking about the event side of how do you ensure quality, but yet keep it open in the gatekeeper. But how do you ensure I'm sure there's deadlines that still need to be in place.
Yeah,
so what systems do we have in place to kind of keep projects on time?
On track.
Yeah.
Definitely consistent meetings. I think people hate meetings. It's like, this could have been an email. I'm queen of no, we need to talk. And don't get me wrong, if it could be email, it's gonna be an email. But 9 times out of 10, most things that you say could be an email aren't not always the case. So that those consistent touch points, deadlines, like you mentioned in the question, but that is how you stay on track. You have to set them and you have to honor them. If there is a space where they have to bend, it has to make sense. It has to bend because something was completely out of our control or something changed. But if not, in that report, to make sure that this conversation at the festival happens it's got to be on time. So it goes back to all those general principles of discipline and all of that. Let's see, meetings, deadlines. It's just like any other relationship, to be honest. Communication is key. Staying on top of it. I think also doing things in phases, I think is really important. I think when you set out to do this project, we always just jump to the end or what it needs to look like, whatever. And I'm a fan of more times than not starting with the end in mind. And then we work backwards from there. But as we're working backwards from there, let's do it in phases. So maybe today is just about writing out the lists for who needs to be a part of what project. So now the next phase is assigning tasks to those people in those lists. With if you're in this role, here's what you're responsible for. You go and do this. Like, it really comes down to organization. And it's going to sound, I don't know if cliche is the word I'm looking for, but kind of basic. Like, you'd be surprised by how many people don't have those skills, like are not organized in that way, do not think about, let me plug this on a calendar, let me actually like, and I think again it comes to that creative passion, right? Like, we're talking, we're so excited about the idea, sounds like go, but I've been in so many meetings where we're talking and nothing got done. I maybe learned what day we're supposed to do this, but nothing. Oh, it drives me insane.
Right. That's what I was asking. How did we keep it on track? Because you like, listen, you like, we're gonna do the basics of literally do the meetings. We have set meetings and all that. And I was talking about the systems. I also want to talk about maybe even the systems or the strategy for how you all generate revenue, like, because that's important as well when you're trying to go into the realm of arts, entertainment, media production. What is the strategy so that we can generate revenue? Now, I would say unless it's a nonprofit, but that's not true. Even nonprofits have to bring in a certain amount of
we have a nonprofit sector, and you still have to,
so that we can kind of cover the basis of all the programming and staff. And so I'm sure with this, there's still, what is the strategy about how we generate revenue, or there's a system how we can generate revenue, whichever one you want to speak to.
I think anytime you're trying to generate revenue, you need a product, right? But I think what people don't necessarily think about is that product doesn't always have to be something physical. It can be an experience. It can be, if you and I are doing a partnership and I'm helping you get distribution for your film's the product. You know what I mean? But I've generated revenue because maybe I got a finder's fee or a connector's fee, whatever. So when it comes to strategy, something worthwhile. So I think events is probably the most tangible one for us to like start with. Ticket sales, you know what I mean? But how are we actually going to sell tickets? That's a whole nother strategy. It's when we're getting into a conversation about marketing, about why this event is worthwhile for someone to come to. Do we have star power behind it? Because those typically sell easier than, oh, come out and support your local artist. But we're in a space where, I mean, maybe in some cases we could get the star power, but we here for the local people. So it's like, how do we make this worthwhile? And it's getting back to grassroots marketing, and then I think kind of combining that with marketing today in the digital space. Like, ads are such a thing. Like, the strategy behind how to do all of that, it comes from the quality of the product too. You know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure what you're selling is worthwhile, but it comes from attacking it from different angles. Don't get so caught up on, oh, it's an event. Everybody, like, let's say I was doing a screening. Oh, everybody gonna want to see this movie. No, they're not. You think they are. People could probably care less. Because what's funny about it too, I mean, when you get somebody to pay their money, they have the investment to show up. But I think people always think like free events. I know this isn't about revenue, but it's just kind of, if I could share organically. I think what a lot of people don't even know about free events is you might get 500 signups, but you're lucky if half that number shows up. You know, and I mean, we don't factor in attrition a lot into the things that we're doing, but going back to actual money and just different things, the strategy behind revenue comes from what are you selling? Again, going back to the foundational principle of being clear about it. What's the vision here? What's the goal? So now that you have that, and I think what I'm hearing in all of my answers as I'm talking to you, it goes back to systems. Is phases. None of this is like this one pathway to making it happen. It's levels to this. Like and when you here and you trying to get here, you can't skip. If that makes sense. So the strategy is understanding what are those in between pieces that either I need to make the consumer aware of, like my purchaser. What do they need to know? What do they need to feel? What do I need to tell them? I need to be thinking like the client now. Like, that's a part of the strategy. Think about if you were the purchaser, not the seller, because as a seller, you think what you got, like I said, everybody think they got the golden egg. But you know, when somebody else trying to sell you their egg, you be all right, get it out of my face. You know what I mean? So I think when you're trying to sit down and organize what that strategy is, think through it piece by piece. Does it have at minimum the basic information? Who, what, when, where, why, how?
Right.
Cool. Then you build on that. All right, what's my sparkle on top? What's going to give it pizzazz? Because if I got a light, everybody and their mama got a light, but why is my light different? And you highlight that in your sales pitch or in your ticketing part. Like, you know what I mean? You have to make it make sense. You think through the details of it. Okay, cool. I'm clear about why my light is special. That's what I'm going to tell the person I want to buy the ticket to the screening, or that's what I'm going to tell the person at the table that I want to buy this film. You sell a story.
Yeah. You said something as far as it reminded me of a quote that we heard yesterday at the Creative Con event, where it was like, get out of your head and get it to the customer's head or to the client's head, because you want to provide what it is that they want, right? It's like, yes, I have a product and service that's highlighting my skill set, but I got to know what it is that you want in order for you to purchase or, you know, buy from. So, and that's kind of what I heard you say just now. Yeah.
Well, look at me saying stuff they were saying on stage.
All right. So is there a financial metric that you guys use to determine how you are on track as a company, or that you would use, and that could either be with Creative Cipher, or that could be more simple? Is there a specific financial metric that you're tracking to know that we're on track?
Yeah.
Aside from profit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I like that. I like that distinction, because I mean, you always want to know if you're making a profit, how far in the hole you are. Yes, and I think it looks different by what we're tracking. So let's say, you know, it's an event we're selling tickets to or something. Your metric for that is going to look different than maybe if we set a goal this year to get X amount of dollars off of commission fees or partners fee, like whatever that may be. I think when it comes to finances, one of the things that I'm learning as I consistently work through both sides of the business, you know, as someone who is putting myself and my company out there more, but also working for this, you know, established company and all of these things, is the mark always kind of, it's going to move as you grow. And it's going to move as, like, literally, like, as you grow in name and in presence, but in numbers too, in team. And I think one of the things that for me personally, and I feel like when I feel like all my answers are so rooted in, like, I don't know what I'm looking for. You know, in character. You know what I'm trying to say. But I can't get away from it. I'm sorry, Shy. Because for me, that metric is taking care of your team, taking care of people. Like, you gotta, if this is gonna grow, if this is gonna go somewhere, and this is really, if I'll be honest, this is me speaking as Cindy, not as president of Creative Cipher, not as, like, as Cindy, as someone who has worked for people, worked above people, hired people, fired people. Oh my God, I can get horror stories firing people. What you got to do is part of business, right? But, like, take care of your people. And I think so many business leaders don't understand the art of, man, I wish I could tell y'all what I was just watching. But somebody literally just said it. You find somebody really good at what they do and you make them rich. That's the metric for how am I being successful? How am I taking care of these people? Because if these people are eat, breathing, sleeping, shitting, can I cuss on here? Sorry. Okay, you know, pooping, you know, my business, my vision, my brand, I'm not gonna say they shouldn't want for nothing in life. I can't cure everything, but, like, it shouldn't be 5-6 years and they ain't had a raise. It shouldn't be this, that, and that. You know what I mean? Like, take care of people. Right. That is how you get to financial wealth. Don't abuse favors. Don't abuse. I mean, we all have to work together. Everybody starts somewhere. I'm a huge fan of working across for certain, you know, and then we scale up together. Right. But even as we working across, somebody gotta get a check from somewhere, and we breaking bread. Feed me, I feed you. Right. You know, so I'm a very spiritual person. I know for a fact I would not be here without God. And, like, I think a huge derivative of that is God takes care of people. And if he's in all of us, that's what, and that's why it all keeps coming back to character. I know the business in you is like, girl, if you don't give me this, that, and the third. And it's not that I can't, it's just that if you're asking me about my journey, my best opportunities I never interview for. Right. they found me, you know?
But you know what's important, and I like what you're saying is like, and you know, I am asking about that because we do want to go behind the brand,
Yeah.
right? That's just the whole aspect of our podcast. Because if I go behind your brand and I know what you're doing, I can kind of figure out what I may be doing. But because of your industry, it's interesting that it's important for you to realize you have to have the grit and the tenacity.
Yeah.
You've driven home that more than probably any other person we've ever had, because and I think that is, as I'm sitting here listening, I'm like, this is probably because this is art and entertainment specific, and this is media and production and film specific stuff that you have to have. All the other stuff, well, it'll be great, but it's like if you don't have that, then you don't have anything, and so you want to make sure that you're driving home that. And so I understand that.
Thank you.
I want to. I just want to actually thank you. I want to thank you for being on, sharing that with the audience, because there are some people who are watching this and they are aspiring to be in film. They do have that cool story for a short film, or they have a show that they want to produce, and they're like, okay, a DP, what does that mean? I'm gonna go look up what that is, because she didn't tell you all the answers. She told you to go look and research and study and know your stuff, so you're not waiting on somebody to feed you hand and mouth. That's what you said.
I was about to tell them, but I ain't gonna tell them that. Now they gotta go Google it.
I mean, you want to, you
No,
know.
I love that.
Yeah, and so
listen. Shut up.
so I love that you're telling that, because that's an industry where you really need to know, and the reason why is also because it's an industry where people have been taken advantage of.
Yeah, every day.
And so it's harder to be taken advantage of when you first of all have the grit, the vision, clarity, and all that, but you also have you know your stuff because you've done the research on what it takes. So you're not getting blindsided. So when I do finally go sit down with the Creative Cipher and I know, okay, I'm going to submit a film, I'm hoping that you guys can help me get my production together, give me the team that I need, or maybe help me get this submitted for a higher distribution. And I know that she mentioned, she didn't go into detail about it, something about a commission, something about a partnership, something about an executive producer. I have to listen. This is an industry where I'm not going to hand and feed you mouth to mouth. You got to go do your research.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, what she said, I'm gonna tell you, the business is you're going to be exchanging a percentage of your income with a partner who is helping you broker that deal. That's ultimately what we're talking about. That's a revenue strategy for their company, which is we come in, we partner with you through our resources, and through our resources we're going to give you access to all these things. Now, when you go get this $200,000 contract for your short film, just know we helped you do all that. What she said, a finder's fee and all that. And if you don't know what any of those mean, you have to go look those things up. I still happen to know a little bit about film, and so I didn't want to have this whole conversation talking through people who know about it. I wanted to try to help them have it, but I understand what you're saying, and it's very important.
No, and when you think about it, it's that was part of her journey, right? She started doing this based on character, right? It was like, I want to do this, but the character of the people that are in this environment, I don't rock with that. So I'm going to create my own, and I'm going to build a character-based business. So to me, it's not surprising that you keep going back to that, because that's been your foundation from the conversation that we've been having.
I appreciate that. If we have time, if you all make me think about I think we were talking off camera about like coming into the industry and stuff. And so my first television job, I started traditionally as a PA. Like I said, I went freelance. I never did the whole, let me go build my network in LA, et cetera, et cetera. And still to this day, you would think PAs get treated like crap. It's not cute. And I made a promise to myself that when I got into position, I would never treat PAs like that. But there is an art, there is a balance to everything. Because to your point, you still gotta, train up a child, they say. You still gotta teach them how to have that grit, how to do whatever. And I'll never forget one of my first times being like a production manager. It was something that a PA would typically do. Set was light, things were fine. It was a real small crew, real easy day. I'm doing it. And I think for anybody out there listening, the PA noticed and was like, oh, I can do that. And I will say, keep that approach. You know, if you know that it's something that you should be doing, show that. Don't sit in comfort letting someone else do your job. Because him saying that to me, honestly, was what made me comfortable enough to be like, it's okay, I got it. You know what I mean? But I think about what could have been the adverse of that. And somebody, had I noticed you kind of kicked up, I probably would have been like, all right, you know, get up. Come on, let's do this, you know. But it's really about core values too. Early is on time. On time is late, especially when you're in a position where you're trying to grow and establish yourself. And so I share all that to say, like, the experiences that I've had have shaped what type of leader I want to be, but that pushing this character and pushing this discipline and all of that, it all intertwines, because I think the key to anything is balance.
Right. Speaking of balance, I'm going to end with this last question that's about balance, because you now still have your company, which you can take on some clients, and then also you're president of this company, and so there has to be some balance there. What rituals or rhythms do you have as a CEO to keep yourself grounded, so you can do this sustainably, so you can sustain a company that's getting production deals, but meanwhile growing the next Viacom that birthed out of the South Side of Chicago? What do you do as a person to make sure you have that sustainability?
Well, I can definitely give you a software on that one, Google Calendar.
Yes.
If it ain't on that calendar, it ain't real. Right. And I keep trying to tell people that. But outside of that, being intentional with anything I do, I have this rule. Sometimes I fail at it because I'm a human. But most days I do pretty good. I don't touch my phone in the morning until I've prayed, until I've talked to God. Because for me, it's a reset in energy. It's so funny how, like, the higher you climb and the deeper you get into these businesses and whatever, all the numerology, energy, it's something to all of it. You know what I mean? And everybody's got their own pick and their own choose, but kind of finding how to intertwine all of these different practices of the world and make them make sense and fit them into who I am also helps me, because that keeps me grounded. And without being grounded, I wouldn't be able to run multiple entities, because I'd be all over the place. And that's the one, everybody within these entities, somebody always gonna be all over the place. So what you gotta know as a leader, you're gonna always have to ground somebody else's energy. So in order to do that, you gotta do your best to have yours grounded. And so I pray, I put it on my calendar, I do my best to let, this time block be for that thing. But unless it's a meeting or like an active project, I don't know if it's ADHD, I don't know if I'm undiagnosed, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'm working on 2 or 3 things at one time, but I would take it all back to prayer, just being grounded, scheduling things out, and sticking to deadlines.
Okay. Listen, again, thank you so much for coming on here to share your insights about everything that you've learned from going from the college to the PA to the freelance owner to the production owner to the president of ecosystem, right? Thank you so much for sharing that. So
thank you, Shay.
We appreciate you for coming on. And also I want to thank you, the listener, the watcher. If you're checking this out on YouTube, you're watching. If you're checking this out on your favorite podcast medium, audio, you're listening. So we just want to thank you for being here. If you're here at the end of the episode, you really a real one. Shout out to you. And while I'm giving you, and I'm clapping it up for you, I want you to tap the like. I want you to go ahead and tap the subscribe button while I'm clapping it up for you, right? No, seriously, thank you so much. Actually, comment on here if there was something that was said that really resonated with you on a deep level.
Yes. And on that note, we want to also invite you to participate in our Creative to CEO Challenge. It is a 5-day challenge where we take you, the creative, and transfer you into a CEO. You're going to walk away with a 90-day CEO plan on a page. You're going to have your signature offer, and we're going to give you systems and structure that's going to help you to sell and monetize that said signature offer. So join us. There'll be a link in our comment section, or wherever. If you're listening to it in the show notes, if you're watching it in the description, click on that link and be a part of that 5-day Crypto CEO channel for me and Sha.
Only 5 days. Okay, so yes, only 5 days is really fire. And I also want to do something that I do on every episode, and I think it's very important because we've had an opportunity to invite a guest on, and they've spoken to you. You've heard Ryan and I speak. We want you to hear you speak to yourself. We want you to do an affirmation, and we have an MMCB mantra that we want you to say out loud. Everybody in here ready? We're going to all say it out loud. Y'all ready? Okay. All it takes.
All it
All it
takes.
takes.
We're not together. And I heard you kind of was staggering at home too. Let's get it together, okay? All it takes
All it takes
is intention,
is intention,
consistency,
consistency,
and laser focus
and laser focus
to mind my creative business.
to mind my creative business.
And on that note,
And on that note,
peace. We are.